What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Optimal EV. Today we're going to be giving you an overview of another all-new electric automotive company, Rivian. They currently have two truck models available, the R1S and the R1T.
For those of you who don't know, Rivian will be going public on November 10th with huge investments from Amazon and Ford. So it does seem like they're going to be very competitive in this environment. Let's see what they have to offer.
Let's do it.
Here we are on Rivian's website, and when it comes to delivery time, if you weren't a part of Rivian's launch edition, then you won't be able to get the car in November, which is what their first delivery times are expected to be. Again, we don't know what's going to happen with shortages and supply chain problems, but when it comes to the regular orders, they're going to start happening in early January.
So here we have the two models, the R1S and the R1T. On the left-hand side, you can see that the R1T is more like your stereotypical flatbed truck, and the R1S is more so your family-sized SUV.
Yeah, and from my understanding, it seems that the R1T is the only EV truck that is actually close to getting delivered. We're going to start out by just showing you a couple of details and information about the R1T. One thing would obviously be the range, one of the most important things when buying an electric car. And I think that benchmark of 300 miles is super important. Obviously, when you buy something a little cheaper like the Chevy Bolt EV and EUV, having that 250-mile range isn't, too much of a big deal. But when you jump into the $65,000, $70,000 range, you really should expect a higher EPA rating.
Yeah, and the thing about Rivian is they give you an EPA of 314 miles with the included 21-inch wheels, but they also do mention that if you switch to a 22-inch or a 20-inch wheel, that it will reduce your range. We took a closer look at that. We think it's likely because of the treads on the wheels, not so much because of the size. But it kind of perplexed us a little when we saw that, going from a larger wheel or even to a smaller wheel was decreasing the range.
For the 20-inch wheels, the reason for the reduction of range, it says 10 to 15%, is actually because it's an all-terrain tire, and I believe that going off-roading is just what's reducing that range. But when you jump to the 22-inch wheels, it's because you're getting a performance tire, a sport tire. So I think that's why the 21 really is the optimal range. Usually when you reduce the wheel size, it does give you better range, but in this case, it does not.
Something else we should note is that as of right now, the R1T is the only model of the two that has an option for a 400-plus mile range battery pack.
So the only other company that really comes close to that 400-mile range and it actually is above it is Lucid. So it's nice to see another luxury EV competing with them. Obviously, very different model, but battery pack wise. And another thing that the R1T will have offered in the future is going to be a 250-plus mile range battery pack. So at least they're giving you the option to change it up. But I think the 400-mile range is really the most impressive. Next up, we have the performance, which was super impressive. I actually was shocked to see that they're giving it a quad motor with a 0 to 60 time of 3 seconds. I mean, that is insane. Plus, they're also coming with 11,000 pounds of towing on the R1T specifically, which will give you a 50% reduced range. But obviously, if you're towing 11,000 pounds, that's kind of expected.
This thing is a true off-roading beast. It can withstand up to 3 feet of water, and you can also get a 15-inch clearance underneath of it. You can pretty much throw this thing at any terrain.
Yeah, for people in the Northeast like us, 3+ feet of water is very convenient, especially when you have the flooding that we've experienced recently. It would be nice not to have your car flood out and your batteries destroyed, being able to clear that much of water. The R1T has 8 different drive modes, and we really started to see this with Range Rover, where they came out with a bunch of different modes to kind of suit whatever your needs are. And it seems that Rivian is really a true off-roading car, unlike a Range Rover. I mean, nowadays, Range Rovers are just that luxury SUV.
When it comes to safety, it's pretty hard to put a price on it. Rivian is really emphasizing here the quality and the strength of the materials that they're putting together for the structure of the truck. They also emphasize that they're trying to prevent any type of rollover and keep you confidently planted to the ground.
Another thing that's great about Rivian is they're actually making all of your driver assistant features standard, and they are telling you that there's going to be over-the-air updates to keep those features up to date.
On the platforms, not really too much to talk about here. They are just promising a very efficient work process in putting these trucks together.
100%. And then we're just going to jump over to warranties, which when I first looked at it, I was super impressed. Normally, when you have a regular, brand company, they say that there's a 4-year, 50,000-mile new car limited warranty. But here you have actually 5 years or 60,000 miles, so an extra year and an extra 10,000 miles. Now, most companies, when it comes to their EVs, they have a battery pack warranty of 8 years, 100,000, or Tesla 8 years, 125,000, I believe it is now. But Rivian has 8 years, 175,000 miles. So these cars are really meant to be driven.
Something that's arguably just as important as the performance of the car is the technology that comes in it. As you can see, the big screen here in the center console kind of blends into this truck pretty well. I think it's also going to be really important to see how the UI functions, because I think as long as it's intuitive and easy to use, it'll be a good product.
Yeah, I agree. And I like how they actually made the screen kind of fit into the center console. It's not like Tesla where they kind of just plop the screen in.
Yeah.
Another thing that's important is they do have LTE and Wi-Fi capability with Bluetooth pairing and wireless charging. Now, wireless charging has been a problem with a lot of companies right now due to chips. And also, you'll get 6 USBs included and 4 standard outlets that are 120 volts. Now, one thing that is important is that they are bringing Alexa voice commands into this vehicle. Now, other companies have used Alexa apps in the car, but none of them actually come standard equipped with the Alexa voice commands. We're going to jump into the interior. We selected the Explore tab for the interior to give you a couple nicer pictures of how it looks. And one thing we noticed right away is that wireless charge pad with the phone on it. It seems super easy to access, right?
Yeah, I love the convenience of where this is located in the truck.
Yeah, and another thing that, trends obviously come and go in the automotive industry, and one of my favorite trends that's going on right now is this kind of natural grain wood. You don't have any kind of gloss on it, which shows fingerprints, dust, and scratches super easily. So I love seeing that natural trim in the Rivian, and it comes in all different types of colors. We're going to start at the top here with the Adventure package. So this is the upgraded trim. They do give you more options on this one. You have a black interior, a light, like a white interior, and then the green. And then on the bottom, you'll see the Explorer, where it doesn't give you the option for those nice matte trims. You'll get just a black and a standard white, a little more simplistic.
Here we get a look at the exterior colors that Rivian has to offer. Something we kind of always knock Tesla for is the fact that they don't really have a lot of options available when it comes to colors. So it's really nice to see a company like Rivian offer a lot of options right from the get-go.
Yeah, and we're not hating on Tesla. Every automotive company has their flaws, so. Here we have the panoramic roof, which offers a ton of visibility to the night sky, as you can see in the picture here. They are saying that they're going to come out with an open air removable option in mid-2022, but I really don't see how they're going to pull it off. I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're going to try and do like a T-top. I think the only other company that's tried pulling this off with their electric truck is Hummer EV.
Yeah, which is coming soon, so we'll see how that works out. But either a T-top or maybe some kind of convertible truck. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe. Rivian is also offering an enhanced audio system called the Rivian Elevation Audio System by Meridian. I'm honestly not really familiar with the Meridian sound system, but it should be pretty good.
Yeah, and they are coming out with this Bluetooth speaker that you can actually remove from the vehicle and bring with you. I kind of like that just because I've had plenty of Bluetooth speakers over the years, and I either leave them in a spot and never touch them for a long time. So having it with me in my car all the time, as long as I don't forget it somewhere, it's going to be pretty cool to carry that around with me. I haven't heard of Meridian as well, but I'm super excited to get a taste of it.
As far as storage goes in this truck, between all of the different compartments, you get a combined total of 62 cubic feet, which is pretty good.
Yeah, and then we jump into the trunk bed where we did talk about the outlets earlier with the UI, and you do have 2 120-volt outlets in the back, and also you do have an optional full-size spare underneath the bed.
Another feature that's available here is the automatic tonneau cover. If you upgrade to that Explorer package, that does come included with that. Otherwise, you are stuck with just the manual removable cover.
Not bad. It's nice having something automatic for the cover.
Yeah,
it's important.
Pretty nice.
Then we're going to jump into probably the most unique feature on this vehicle. I know we talked about 0 to 60 times, we talked about horsepower, we talked about how much range this car has, but this gear tunnel is pretty insane. You have a full-on through and through tunnel for anything, as it could be the kitchen that they talk about right here, the camp kitchen, which we'll get into. Also, you could put surfboards, skis, anything can really fit in there, which is pretty impressive. Then we also have this optional camp kitchen, which I've never seen on any vehicle. It does seem pretty pricey, but
most of the stuff that you get like this are totally custom made and not something that ever comes included standard on a package.
Never. And it does look kind of useful. I feel like it's something that you'd use once or twice unless you're really someone who goes out and camps and adventures very often.
The price tag on this is $5,000 additional. So I guess it's not technically standard, but even then it's pretty impressive for what they have to offer.
Lastly, in the utility section, we have our adventure gear, which is really just your standard truck mounting on your bikes or any kind of add-ons to the roof of your car.
So we did knock on Tesla earlier about having a lack of color options available, but as you can see, Rivian is following in their footsteps with Driver Plus. Driver Plus is a true hands-free driving assistance.
Yeah, and one thing that's nice, it isn't $10,000. It does seem that Rivian will be including all of these features as standard and also giving you free over-the-air updates at no cost at any time in the future is what they're wording here. It does talk about their system and, does seem pretty intuitive. They have interior cameras to make sure that you are alert at all times. And if you at any point do become not alert, they will force you to put your hands on the wheel.
And just a note here, the Driver Plus does come with 11 cameras, 5 radars, 12 ultrasonic sensors, and a full 360 degrees field of view.
That wraps up our overview of the R1T. Now, when it comes to the R1T and the R1S, they are very similar when it comes to interior colors exterior colors, and wheel options. So we just wanted to kind of tell you a few quick differences. So the main thing is the R1T is definitely focused towards the consumer who is going to be adventuring and camping, and the R1S is definitely more towards families. So because of that, you have different sizes. The R1T has the trunk bed, and the R1S has the 7-seat option and also the regular 5-seat option. It also will lose the gear tunnel, the R1S. It will have less towing capacity, and right now it does not have the option for the 400 plus battery pack, but maybe we'll see that in the future.
I think we can all agree that these are pretty objectively impressive trucks. I'm also really excited to see what these have to offer and see these in person.
This concludes our overview of Rivian. We went over the R1T and the R1S. We showed you some differences between the two. These vehicles are obviously very competitive in the market, so if you have any questions for us, leave them down in the comments, and make sure to look out for our build guide and rundowns on these two models.
We really appreciate all the great support that we received on our Lucid video, so if you guys haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, we'll see you in the future.